The next question I was going to ask is that do the players who are on that are the players who are on that long list, do they know that they're on it, or if it's just like a list that's just out there and then they just cut from that? But if they're going to be subjected to different testing, I'd imagine they would know they're on the list.
Yeah, and the players had the right to decline it too. That was part of the agreement. So
I didn't know that.
I have no knowledge of anyone who did that, but I do know that they had the right. If Hockey Canada came to you and said, "Hey, we want to put you on our long list," you could say, "Do you know what? I don't think I'm going to make the team. I don't want to go through all the drug testing or what have you, the extra work with that. Thanks, but no thanks." I can't even guess. I have no idea if anyone did that, but the players did have that right if they chose to do that.
So you know what I think someone might end up doing, or I figured someone would have done it by now. We see people do these mock lineups with the actual team that's being brought there. What if someone went through all the trouble and said, these are the 55 players that should be on Canada's log list? Like, what if someone actually does it?
I mean, we got a pretty passionate fan base. I wouldn't be surprised if someone did that. I mean, I once dropped a nugget on the STP in which I gave like 2 parameters hinting at a guy the Leafs might trade for this past offseason. And people like spent days like narrowing down every player it could be or couldn't be, and then speculating on it. And this is a true story. On my birthday, on Saturday night, I went to the Leafs Senators game, and then met a couple friends out for a drink after the game. And I was waiting in line to get seated. And, a guy comes up, he's like, "Can you tell me who that guy was?" Like, I listened to the SDP, like, is it safe yet? So like people don't underestimate what the people are willing to do, and B, they don't forget. So I won't be playing that game too much anymore, because some people got dangerously close to figuring out who I was pointing to.
Boy.
Yeah. And it's not fair. Like I was trying to have fun, and I was, telling the truth. It was information I'd heard, but it certainly wasn't anything that I had clearance to be going public with, or that it was really more just trying to give a nugget to the fans, but I might have flew a little close to the sun on that one, put it that way.
Okay. I won't put you in trouble on that anymore. And I'll go back to the rest of the questions on that.
I will say this, if the Leafs ever trade for this player, because they didn't in the offseason, I will identify it then. And I know that that's maybe no fun to everyone, but I will clear or if it maybe one more year passes and it's like just something that clearly isn't going to happen, I will one day be honest about this. But until then, it lives along with our pilot episode. Like it lives in the darkness so far.
Yeah, that won't see the light of day yet. This next one, it's more of a funny one, but I'm really curious what your answer to this will be. This is from Andrew Saldana on Twitter. "Hello, King. Do you know what the J in Jeff Carter's middle name stands for?" I don't know.
Does he have J as a middle name?
I just assumed that he did, and I just figured, since you know everything, that was the case.
That's not my ballywhack. I don't know.
I have
Jeffrey
no clue.
John Carter. I don't know. Jeffrey James Carter.
I think Hockey Reference normally has like players' full names, so maybe this is something we could just discover for ourselves as we do this.
I don't know.
It doesn't have it there.
I barely know anyone's middle name, man. Like, you got to be in my tight inner circle for me to know your middle name. So, I definitely don't know some random NHL player's middle name.
Okay, it was worth a shot. Jeffrey J. Carter, and I don't know what the J is for. Well, it was at least worth a shot. Thank you, Andrew Saldana, for the question.
You know what? I'll get to the bottom of that one, though. I'll figure that out for you.
Whatever the middle name is, we'll have that as a future title for an episode of the CJ Show. JM85 on Discord says, "What was a trade from any year that you thought was going to happen and it was pretty much guaranteed that ended up not happening?"
I really thought Erik Karlsson was going to get traded to Vegas. And, that was pretty strongly rumored at the time. You're going to have to help me out with the years, but it was the trade deadline before he actually got moved to San Jose.
Yeah.
It went down right to 3:00 Eastern, and they just weren't able to get it done. I actually think the package, it's funny because there's like 4 teams that were involved in multiple transactions, right? So Montreal traded Max Pacioretty to Vegas.
Yes.
But San Jose was interested in Pacioretty. And I think that a lot of what San Jose ended up trading to Ottawa for Karlsson was on the table for Pacioretty. Not every last detail. Obviously, at that time, Karlsson did get more. I mean, he was not far removed from his most recent Norris Trophy. But there was a lot of interplay between Vegas, San Jose, Montreal, and Ottawa on those maneuvers at the time. And I really thought, we've seen the Golden Knights there. That's an aggressive organization. And I say that in the best way possible. I think, some people, obviously, fans got their feelings hurt, obviously, by the way things were down with Marc-Andre Fleury. But if you're cheering for that team, you have no question that ownership and management is turning over every rock they can to try to win. And so I thought that was a deal that was going to happen. It didn't end up going down. That's probably the one that sticks in my mind from the last couple of years.
Okay, that's really interesting. I think LA, I was also interested in Max Pacioretty as well.
Yeah, he didn't want to sign the extension there, and so that killed the deal. That was at the Dallas draft. 2018.
Yes, that was. Yeah, because that one I think was well before Pacioretty was traded, like at the end of that summer. So that was 2018. Now you're jogging my memory as well.
Well, it's just interesting because Vegas and San Jose at that time were two teams that were trying to get as much big game talent as they could. And they were floating the same names that moved in other deals because they'd identified what they were willing to trade for that talent, right? So I'm pretty sure was Chris Tierney in the deal to Ottawa for Karlsson, for example.
Pulled up the deal. Let me just pull up the deal real quick because I don't remember the exact details offhand. And yes, if you're watching on YouTube, I am Googling this on my phone. So,
but think too, from those trades, Vegas made 3 first-round picks the first year they became into existence. One of them is Nick Suzuki. So Suzuki ends up in Montreal in the Pacioretty deal. Eric Brandstrom was another one. Brandstrom goes to Ottawa. At the time, I think Brandstrom was thought to be the better prospect initially. Probably the more desired one at that point in time by a lot of people. We're not looking at it the same way today. Eric Brandstrom's still kind of a question mark, and Nick Suzuki's getting paid a lot of money starting next season and is a big part of the Montreal Canadiens' future down the middle. So it's just interesting that those teams had a lot kind of going on between them. And as you can tell, my brain's a bit scrambled by some of the specific details because there was so much crossover. But I do know that the Karlsson trade to San Jose could have been similar to what a Pacioretty trade to San Jose. Again, not the exact same, but some crossover in those returns.
Some of the details in there: Chris Tierney, Rudolph Balcers, defenseman Dylan DeMello, who is not in Ottawa or San Jose, is in Winnipeg now. The rights to unsigned forward Joshua Norris, a first-round pick in the 2019 draft or 2020, a second-round pick in 2019, and 2 conditional draft picks. So those
it wouldn't have
all
been as
that
many
going
picks.
Ottawa.
It wouldn't be as many picks in the Montreal side. And I don't know if it was Norris. I wish I could remember that. But yeah, fans love those questions. But it's funny because over time, you just some of it gets beaten out of your mind. You know what I mean? But definitely, I thought Karlsson was going to be a Golden Knight.